let's get some Genesis format games going. And this is going to be my first attempt at a grind, trying to reach 1,000 rating. And I went with RDA because I think it's free. It's one of my favorite decks by far as well, because ever since we got the structure deck, I think the cards are amazing. I'm hoping that we get there's some speculation that we might get more support for this deck, which I'm just excited to see what we could possibly get. But anyways, the deck itself isn't complex. It's quite linear. It's quite simplistic. But I think how it can interact and utilize its interactions is where it can be quite technical, and that can be pretty good. It can be fulfilling for sure. And although the way you initiate your sequence isn't that difficult, something that I learned and something that I've seen people do a lot is that once they get to this point, they add off Synchro Mercenary, get back to Vision, and then Special Vision, and then Tribute Division for the Scarred. But that puts you in a very weird scenario. I'll tell you what I mean. Let me show you. Okay, so let's say this is going to get Red Zone. This is quite standard, right? So once you're here, let's say you still had Bane. That would mean that Bane would be the highest level. So it puts you in an awkward situation where if you do have to use Red Rain before you get to use your Abyss, that means that you lose both of your dragons, you keep Bane. Now you have to decide, what does Red Zone revive? Does it revive your Abyss? Does it revive your Scarred? Either way, you're going to be losing one interaction because of the situation you're in. And you could have avoided, because you could have just not done the Bane Tribute Vision, and you could have just tributed itself, right? Which is what we're in now. Because now, if you're forced to use Red Rain before you can use the effect, it's fine. You banish your Scarred, you just reborn your Scarred, and then you still get the pop, which is the most interaction you can possibly have with this setup. But this is pretty good. This is quite standard. This is generally what you want to be doing. And I'm going up against Regenesis, and I didn't know it was a variant. It was like Voiceless Voice Regenesis. And I was like, interesting, okay, fair enough. I mean, once again, Regenesis, he tries to bounce my card, and this is what I'm referring to. This is the perfect example. He tries to force it, so I just protect it. I'm going to lose my Scarred, but it's perfect to find a resolution. I ask for a response, and then I revive my Scarred. And then this is where he reveals he's playing Voiceless Voice. I ask that, and he just like, it's just too much. If you go first and you pull that off, it's just insane. Okay, so my hand, it's not looking too great because I have double pots, which is not ideal. I can only use one because I have to use it at the beginning of my my main phase. I mean, I have breakers, right? I have breakers here, so I need any one card starter, which the deck has plenty of. So he starts with the teleport, summons out Regenesis. This is our Shreddos, basically searches the Regenesis card, and then activates Prep, searches his Guardian. He then activates Barrier, searching the low. He activates the Ritual Summon, summons out the Guardian, triggers the low, summons the low, adds the old guy, triggers the low, places the Blessing, and now he summons out his Lord. He sets the trap that can book my cards or revive his cards. And once I'm here, I'm like, okay, I can possibly bait with extra for sure, because plus one is always insane, so you just kind of want to always negate it. There are instances where you just don't. But he negates, and I go battle phase, and then I go evenly matched. He chains. I'm not sure why he chained. I'm confused as to why he chained. Maybe he just needed it in hand, I guess. Oh, I guess not. No, that makes sense now. Looking back at it, it was kind of odd. He keeps the Barrier. I don't know why he summoned out. Oh yeah, he summoned it off the old guy. That's what it was. But that should have been banished earlier. So I set the Twister, and I'm debating on twistering this, but I kind of want to leave it as like a bluff, like let him think that's something important, but it's really not. But at this point, I'm just getting overwhelmed. He has an Omni. He's getting up, and then I didn't know. I was not expecting a third Guardian, but I guess it's fair enough. So then I go first, and my hand is pretty busted. This is what X-Drive is insane, and you might be concerned that you're playing X-Drive, like, oh, what if you banish your Scarred? Well, I mean, there's 6 RDAs. All you need to have is just one in rotation, and to get everything going. Of course, you would want Scarred and RDA, but you can juggle one because of Gaia, and you can just recycle it as well, which is pretty nice. So you get the +1 here. It resolves, and I get. See, this is the issue, and this is why I have the ratios the way I do with the Lotus, because if this gets stopped, you have so much access to resonators, but you don't have access to your non-tuners. So I think that's why like maxing this guy out it just makes a lot of sense for me. It's just insane. It's just so good. If they interact here, they go minus. That's fine. Reveal, and you get your Abyss set up with the red rain, which is insane. Okay, so he says keeps going. He says keep going, keep going. I mean, I love when I say that. Just why would you do that? Keep going, keep going. Chain 1, chain 2. And right here, since I have access to Synchro Resonator, I need to make sure that I have my RDAs in rotation. So this is why I do it this way. Because I want to have access to both traps. Special, get to my Scarred, search, trigger. I want to have access to as many interactions as possible. Because remember, this is a low sequence deck. It's very linear. So the more interactions you have, the better it is for you. Because that means you can oppress them. And your deck is efficient enough to be consistent through your bone, through your Gaia, right? So you just keep doing it over and over again. Kind of like Salamangreat, where you just, if you live, you have so many resources established that you just win the grind game. So now special, and trigger the vision, the resonator. And I don't trigger the Scarred, because if I do, I'm going to lose my Abyss. And that's something I do not want to happen. I mean, it sucks that my Soul Resonator might get banished, which is how I protect my cards from being destroyed by card effects, which is quite useful. So this is a pretty cool way to sequence your traps. You'll see what I mean. It's pretty nice. Okay. So he goes for the bounce, and then I chain my Phoenix Golem, because I felt that the Golem is interactive versus this matchup, but I felt that if I can hold on to the face-up negate alongside my red rain, I think that would be way more oppressive than this would be, and it just makes it my draw and my ash become way more impactful. So that's why I did it this way, because I want to be able to stop like a spell, a trap, or a monster effect. This is way more versatile than this Golem is. So then I right away revive. I ash the spell, revive my, and you see how oppressive this is. Like it's either I have this set up, right? Because if I were to use my red rain right away, like this is way more impactful than my Golem is. Although Golem is great, I still don't understand why people don't play it. It's just so good. It makes Gaia an interaction. Like, what would you want to do that? Because otherwise, you just search a red zone that does nothing unless you have an RDA on the field. So he reveals Sephira. Oh no, he's revealing to summon. There you go. Revealing to summon Archfiend. That searches Sage. I draw him, summons, attacks my guy. I trigger, and this is why I had to take this. As long as you have your RDs in rotation, Gaia is an amazing card. It's an insane card. Okay, so now he's forced to set and pass. I draw it to Meister. I synchro into the spatter. Chain 1, chain 2, nuke is board. Revive. That just seems insane. So what he tries to do here is, I thought it was like activate and I could pop it, but it's like it's cost, which is kind of weird, right? During your opponent's turn, you can send this card to the graveyard, special summon as many, but it's a continuous trap. So that's why I was confused. Because how can something resolve if it's continuous? Does it have to remain on field? I don't know. So then he revives all of his Regenesis cards. Archfiend will then search from a card. This will try to bounce something, right? And then go attack, put everything face down. He bounces my Abyss. It's perfectly fine. I just feel like I have so much control with Red Rain and having the highest level monster, because that means that this will be unaffected by anything, right? And my grind game's established. I don't have Bone, but I have access to Gaia, right? And this is where it just seals the deal. And he's on 700. And I go for the Crime Bird. Epic, epic. At the time of recording, this guy was ranked number 7. So I'm not sure where he is now, but let's get started. So I'm going to start with Pot. He shifters me. And this is quite devastating because a lot of my stuff needs to go to graveyard. I mean, I can still manage. I can still get something going, but shifter does affect me because I can't go for the crime line. I can't go for dump the red rain. So that's a bit obnoxious. So I can still set up my board with my Scarred, my Abyss, and then I can revive my Scarred after it gets banished, which is quite cool. And this is why I end up maxing out the crime, because it allows you to just see it more often. Otherwise, you just have an abundance amount of resonators that don't really do anything. Yeah, so he just passes. I set and pass. He summons out the Mitsurugi. It's the kaiju, basically. He just tributes off my Abyss. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so annoying. So he tributes my guy. I Ash the Futsu. I revive. He activates Habikiri. And then I'm not taking the bait. I'm just going to negate the ritual. He has the other one as well. My guy loses his attack points. And I'm like, oh, okay, I forgot I loses 500 life. I was like, oh, fair enough. And then he just admits defeat because he sees that it's over. And my hand is pretty busted. I'm just hoping that he doesn't have Shifter again. I have double. I mean, I don't have combo, but I could possibly draw into the 1-card combo that I need. Gaia, I can draw into a Soul, Resonator, Stone Sweeper, Bone at the very least, right? So I think I should be okay. He starts with Habikiri. He searches. And I'm like, oh, should I just draw him or should I negate this? I was like, I'll just cut him off the Mitsurugi ritual, I think. Yeah, because that means if he doesn't get access to Mirakumo, I think I'll be better off if I do that. So then he goes for Armasa Search. Yeah, there's no reason to draw him there. It's fine. So then I go ahead and use the Evilly as like either a Cosmic Cyclone or just spot removal, right? Because the less cards I have to deal with, the better for me. And I have the 1-card starter that I asked for, right? So then I pass. He adds back the Saji. He attacks, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. He shifters me. He activates that. I Ash that. He goes battle phase. I choose not to use the Evilly Matched here because this is exactly why. I was hoping for him to just do this. And I was like, okay, because if I could have evenly matched him, but what if he set 2? Right? And look what he has set. Virus cards. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I draw into Pot of Extrav. And this is what I mean. Like, you banished, what, 2 RDAs? You still have an RDA in the extra deck. You're perfectly fine. You got rid of your 1 Scarlet, but that's perfectly fine. This is like it's not essential. I mean, it is helpful, but it's not essential. You still have 2 more Red Risings. You have 1 more Abyss. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. And I have an Equalizer here within Evenly Matched. Evenly Match, Summon, Scoop. Rank number 7. Bro. I think I'm going up against Radiant Typhon here. Yeah. Okay. So this is where it's great. Because now, whatever interaction they have, this is not the choke point anymore. Because of the ratios I chose to go with. I decided to max out the Red Lotus, the crime. I maxed out the Bone. So that means that this is no longer the choke point. And if they do interact with it, they go -1. Because either way, I'm going to plus because they replenish themselves, right? Because you get the Red Rain. This converts into an Abyss. This converts to the Red Rain, right? So you're not going minus at all if they do interact with this guy. So then now we go ahead, summon, go for our. So this is the good thing when you open both extenders. You can go for a Meister, which is it can be useful. Go for crime, and this is the sequence you do whenever you go for both extenders. Okay. Dump your Red Rain, your Bone, send your guy, send your Crimson Resonator, revive it, and then this is how you get full board. This is like the best thing you could possibly do with this deck. Unless you're playing the Centurion variant, right? And once again, you're doing it this route. You do not keep the Bane, okay? So just go Bane, right? Go Bane. Don't keep the Bane, because as I mentioned earlier, you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you're forced to choose between what do you want to revive, your Scarred or your Abyss, okay? Just be mindful of that, because this is going to be the highest level. All right. You go for Crimson Gaia, get your Golem, and look at this. Traps are so powerful And rightfully so, because you have to wait a turn to use them. That's insane, right? He goes, Mystical Space Typhoon. I'm like, okay, this is Radiant. Okay, fine, fair enough. Right here, I'm debating whether I want to protect it, and I go, okay, I protect. He summons up this guy. I choose to just squeeze here and not let him get access to another consistency piece, right? Because I just want to put him off. Like, he could have another copy of like a draw 2, or he could have the card who was meant to search already. But I felt that just not letting him mold his hand in a way where he can kind of sequence it to his advantage was what I'm trying to prevent here. He tries to negate. I go Red Rain. Both our guys are level 9, so they both stay, right? But I just want to make sure that I can just negate it, right? And then what happens here is right away I've revived my Scarred because I need to be able to have the pop in rotation alongside the Golem. The Golem can't really banish this guy because it has to be a level attack of 2k or more. He goes for pot, and this is what I was kind of scared of. I was like, oh, goodness, okay, fair enough. And he just scoops. He just couldn't do anything. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So he starts. My hand is pretty good because I have the Extender. I have the Searcher, right? So this can possibly go for Crimson Resonator. Start with that, special, right? And try to play off of that. And he goes for the Chant, which is the one that lets him add a level 4 Lord Typhoon monster from your deck, or add a Mystical Space Typhoon. He adds the Eldem, searches the Megala, Special Megala, search MST. He then specials this one. This one's the one that can be destroyed by battle card effects, right? Can I be destroyed by battle card effects while your opponent controls no spells and traps? Yeah, that can be obnoxious, but we have a lot of spells and traps that can be placed and stay there, so not much of an issue. He gets for MST, but MST is an issue though. MST is an issue. He goes for Totem, and right here I'm like, oh my god. I was hoping for an evenly top deck, but I guess. So what this means is I can get access to double Extender through Bone, because this can search Bone, and since I already have Crime, I don't have to search Crime. So I go ahead and start with this. Normal summon. He goes Imperm. I'm perfectly fine. I open up. See, if I didn't have access to a non-tuner or the Extender, this hand would be garbage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand. You have so many copies to Soul that you kind of justify, oh, that's fine. I have so many ways to Crime, so why would I play multiple Crime? This is why you play multiple Crime, for these situations. Okay, then he specials the Crime. He's deciding. He's contemplating. Effect. And then he's like, okay, negate. I'm like, that's perfectly fine, because what I was trying to do anyways, I was trying to bait it anyways, because I was like, oh, I just have this as well, so it's perfectly fine. He goes MST pop, and then he uses the trap to negate, because that's what this does. I was like, what, that does that? That's pretty crazy. So he goes, once per turn, you can target 3 quick play spells in your graveyard, including a Radiant Typhon card. Apply the following effects in sequence. Okay. Shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. All wind monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense this turn. Once per chain, when Mystical Space Typhoon is activated, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls to negate its effects. If this card is destroyed by the effect of Mystical Space Typhoon, you can set this card. So it's a really weird way to make MST negate. That's like a meme. That's hilarious. Okay, so he negates that, but it's perfectly fine because I have everything I needed in rotation anyways. I already have access to Vision. I already have access. Oh, and then oh my god, he negates with Purge. I was like, oh my god, are you serious? So Purge negate. I was to go for Vision there. I go into my Scarred, right? I go into my Scarred. I have my Synchro Resonator. Special. Go for Abyss. Nuke his Totem. Chain 1, chain 2. I go Battle Phase. Attack over that guy. Attack over that guy. It can be destroyed. Destroy everything in defense position. And he's like, pop back row. I'm like, negate. Hell no. He triggers his guy, summons it back. And then he activates this to shuffle back to draw 1. And I'm like, that's fine. I still have my Red Rain. Draws 1. And he just scoops. Dude. I start off again this is why Pot is so good. With the new update, I mean, this is not gonna go untouched for sure. This is gonna get points. It's at 0 right now, at the time of recording, but it was announced that October 27th is going to be changed. So then I start with Vision and with Soul. I mean, and this is what I'm referring to. If this gets stopped, I'm forced to pass, and I hate seeing that. So this is one of those instances where I just don't have the crime or I don't have the bone, but in most cases I always do. Okay, so I summon, add the crime, gets everything in rotation. Go for Red Rising, chain 1, chain 2, send the Red Rain, add it back to Red Rain, and now I set 3 cards. Yeah, he's just asking what he knows, and then I'm like, what the hell is this? Runick. And he banishes my bone, banishes my Synchro in there. I'm like, I'll negate that. Thank you very much. Is this the one? What is this new? Draw 2 cards. Then if you have already, oh yeah, he wanted to draw 2, and I'm like, no, because this is all in draw phase, so I couldn't draw him if I wanted to. And he gets access to MST. He MSTs my back row. I chain Red Rain to make my guy unaffected. At which point I draw, and he's forced to pass. And I draw into another draw. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Yeah, so I think he made a mistake. He was going to add this spell first to then add the thing, I think. That's what happened. But it was easily fixed. So he passes. My hand's pretty good. I have Crimson Resonator. I summon. I go battle phase. Attack. Right? Main phase 2. Because, okay, so in theory, what I wanted to do was, I don't know, I'm not sure how it played out completely different in my mind, but what I want to do is like force him to do something on the attack of this guy, so then he had to choose what does he want to stop, right? Give him like an ultimatum, like, okay, yeah, if I attack directly, then this is gonna revive this is gonna be able to search me, or he knows that this is on the field, this is gonna give me 2 cards, right? So I want to put him in that predicament, and I want to just to see what those 2 backwards were, right? Because I don't know, I still don't know what those are, so I was kind of scared. So I want to just gauge to see what he would do. But nothing happened. And then I tried to use the effect of Crimson Resonator, and I was like, wait a second, I can't. I was like, I control Soul. But anyways, nonetheless, we're still pushing on, getting extra Gaia. Now that we have everything in rotation, we have our grind game established, right? Get back to Red Rain. We have Red Zone in rotation. We have Gaia. We have Golem now, right? Now we have multiple interactions. And then now it's a matter of what does he have? I have Soul Engrave to protect myself from destruction, so I feel pretty good. I negate with Abyss. I chain, pop a back row. He adds. I draw. He scoops. Okay, so yeah. No, look at this. Look how this Pot. When you have Pot and you have these 2 cards, it just feels so good, especially if you already have like an interaction, or if you have a board breaker, like Dark Ruler. The more like Dark Ruler, just insane. It just helps you break the board, like just so good. He pops his own card, triggers the Rosie. I Ash. He has Fountain. I'm like, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. He draws 2, and then he gets his engine going. And I was like, damn, he's snowballing out of control here. Pot of Greed. Oh, look at that. It went from nothing to everything. Gets Tip. I mean, the good thing is that he has a field spell, so I can special summon my Stone Sweeper, which can serve as an extender. And this is where I kind of have to contemplate. I'm like, before he passes to me, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Pot or Dark Ruler first, right? I go for Pot. He negates. And then try to play. I just pass, because I know he can attack me, right? I know he can attack me. And then I think we get into a discussion where he says that he doesn't have to declare. There was like a ruling change where you don't have to declare that you enter battle phase. It just automatically happens, right? And that's where I was kind of like trying to not necessarily shark him into it, but I was just abiding by the rules that I assumed were still in place, because I was like, he's not declaring battle phase, so I'll just, he's not declaring it. Like, why would I do anything different, right? Because he didn't go battle phases in previous turns. So I was like, okay, here we go. And then I was like confident. Oh, okay, he didn't declare. So I'll just use that to my advantage. Okay, and once again, he didn't declare. So we get into it. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, fair enough. I was like, sure, go for it. Okay, but I go first, and my hand is pretty good, except seeing as the nature of the deck of his deck, he's on no hand traps. I mean, Droll is going to be probably the most prevalent one because if you have to pick, it's going to have to be Droll because it's like the one that doesn't have to be sequenced with any other hand trap, right? Like Ash, it's cool, but it's better if you have another the card to pair with it. Whereas Droll is just like a lingering effect. It just you can't search. So once I'm here, I'm like, okay, fair enough. If he drolled me there, I would still have full combo, which is okay. And I'm gonna just take advantage of me knowing that of the deck he's playing, meaning he has no hand traps. So I'm gonna go for the full board, which is pretty impressive, especially in this matchup because I have destruction protection. I can negate his spells and traps. I just float, right? That's the good thing about the RDA portion of the deck. It just floats. Once again, just a reminder, you don't keep the Bane. Don't keep the Bane, okay? Just tribute off the Bane. He goes for Runick, banishes Resonator Call. He goes Flashing Fire. And I'm like, that's fine. Okay, so the reason I allowed this is because I know that I can sequence my turn in a way where I can go, okay, I can protect it with Soul, right? And I can preserve my Red Rain. And I think that Red Zone, and Ash, and alongside Skullmeister should be sufficient, right? Because there's no point of me negating that. There's no reason to. He activates that. I pop. I negate that. Look at this. Look at this sequencing. See, this is the complexities within the deck. It's not necessarily the deck itself and the way you combo. It's the way you use your interactions, right? That's where the complexities lie. It might seem apparent and obvious, but you'd be surprised where not a lot of people can do these type of things. But it's just so fulfilling when you can do certain things like this. It's very obscure. Like, okay, what? Okay, oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. Very, very, very weird. Because of course, this guy could have played his hand completely differently, right? But the way things unraveled, I was able to capitalize, right? Revive my Scarred. Summon, Ash, Scoop. I think I got the matchups mixed up in the past game. I think the other one I said I was playing Vanquish, so, but he just passes, and I'm like, okay. And this is a perfect example, right? I mean, of course, I have Bone, but this is like one of the major choke points, right? This card. If they stop this card, you just can't progress, and I hated that. I was like, there has to be a way to get around this, and that's where I was like, oh, maxing out crime. It only makes sense, right? So special, go into, and then just scoops. But yeah, he just bricked, but Vanquish Soul is like, it's kind of known that it has potential to brick, so even in modern and advanced as well. So he starts with Stick Your Soul, summons Mad Love, gets access to the field spell. That field spell's so good, man. It just gets into the trap. The trap is just insanely impressive versus me. But luckily for us, we have access to our twisters. He reveals Holly Sue reveal, summon. Summons out Jiaolong, Ryzen, summons out Borger, bounce Ryzen. Adds the spell. Not many people play the spell, but I guess this guy did. Reveal to draw, and I'm like, that's so many back row. I was like, I need an evenly matched here. If I can see an evenly matched here, that would be perfect, right? And I draw Vision. I'm like, oh, Vision. Anyways, but I think Dark Ruler is not bad. I have to hit the trap that he set for sure, but I think I sequence in a way where I know that I can go for a Q belt first, and then force Q belt, go special Earthbound, special Vision. I'm gonna get access to Gaia, right? This gives me access to another non-tuner, which would be Bone, and maybe threaten something there because that's 3 spot removals within Twisters. So I nullify with Dark Ruler. I then Twisters, that's 2. And then Q-Belt will be 3, right? So that's a lot of board breaking potential. So he goes for Caesar. Add Caesar. I go Twisters, hit the trap that I need to hit. He chains, I take damage. Discard Division. Right. Search for Vision. He goes Rosin. And it was a counter trap. That's insane. What does this counter trap do? When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can apply the following effects. Banish one monster from your hand, and if you do, special summon the monster that was destroyed and sent to the graveyard by this effect to your field but negates effects. Like, that seems broken, but I don't see many people play this card. That seems broken. Maybe it's not that broken, but it seems busted. Okay. So then I go ahead and add... I was hoping for him to bite here, because that means I don't have to deal with the Caesar, right? But I guess. And then he has Cosmic. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, fair enough. I go for Soul, get Bone, right? Activate, special, no burn. And then he just books my stuff. I was like, oh, he does that? I don't think he did that. But then I'm in trouble here because he has one more pop. And I was like, okay, it's over. That last pop, though. That was so much interaction. Okay, so it's 1-1. And this is the cool thing about siding. Because you can take out cards like Dark Ruler or Cosmics that don't really help you or benefit you. I mean, some matchups they do, but for the most part, I would much rather have this. This is Solemn has points. This is free. And all that requires is to have a monster with 2,500 attack or defense, which we do. So why not play this going first, right? But the issue here is I don't have access to Engine, which is kind of annoying. But this is why we do this. This is why we play this. Summon, go for Q-Belt, special, and now we go for Vision, search, and now we have 3 interactions. That's so cool. Like, weird hands like that do come up. And because all this requires is to have a Fiend Tuner. Look, during the main phase, if you control a Fiend Tuner or your opponent controls a special summon monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, right? And Uvu is a Fiend Tuner. So special, go for a 7, special division, and now we have setup. It's a very, I mean, it's not bad, actually. It's pretty good. I set 3 and passed, and I just don't have a Kaiju, please, because they play Dolgaron, so I'm like, okay, just don't Kaiju me, please. I negate that. So I kind of like weighing the options. Like, which negate is better? This one, which is more versatile? The Abyss or the Dragon's Mind? I think the Dragon's Mind is a lot more versatile. He goes for Pot. I'm forced to negate that because I'm trying to squeeze here, right? Because I still have Red Rain, I still have Golem, so I feel like it's sufficient. He goes to Stake Your Soul, summons up Mad Love. Mad Love searches the field spell, and I think we get into a discussion here whether I was debating whether he gets access to the material, right? Because I'm not sure if it checks on activation. Like, if he targets it, is that all he requires, or does it have to remain on the field in order to like reference it, right? And that's the ruling, and the ruling we went with was, okay, you don't get anything because it's not there at resolution. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. But that's the ruling we went with. And then he reveals Halisu to summon, right? Summon Rosin. He tries to pop, but it's unaffected. He goes Borger, bounce. He goes to add as the spell, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm fine. I should be okay. He sets the trap, and that's quite devastating. And then I just set the counter trap because like you can use both effects at the same turn, which is insane, right? When a spell trap card or a monster effect is activated while you control a monster with 25 original attack or defense, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. That card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 2,500 life points, set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Dragon's Might once per turn. So that's just insane. I think this is one of the most scariest matchups because they just have so much back row. And a lot of the cards cannot be destroyed as long as they control these two together. And I'm like, how do I do it? Because like they have a card that keeps popping. They have a card that negates face-up cards. and they have multiples of those cards, and that's obnoxious. So how do I do this? Because as long as I can make sure that my cards don't get destroyed, I think I should be okay. And I drew a Cosmic, so I have to make sure that I prioritize that for the card that destroys. But he has this card, and this card is not bad. It protects all of his back row, basically. And what it does is, well, this has materials. Your opponent can now target it with monster effects, which is insane. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can attach 2 materials from this card, or just 1 material if all this card's materials are reptile and or dinosaur. Then target 1 face-up card in the field. It's basically an abyss, okay? So the way I'm trying to sequence my turn is just, I'm trying to play into the board. I don't really care if soul gets negated because I already have access to my guys, right? I already have crime, I already have bone. And on top of that, I already have Crimson Guy. So Crimson Guy is going to be a key factor in this game. Okay, summon, search for vision. I extend with the crime. Effect. I then go for my Red Rising. I trigger. Oh, that was a misclick. So he's negating my guy. I completely forgot. I thought this was like effect negation. Then I was, oh, it's an abyss. That's when I realized. Okay, so I revive, and he's like, no, negates it. I was like, okay, fair enough. Then I have special soul. I mean, a special vision here, and this is where he's like, okay, interesting. He's just trying to set up his monster negate or face-up card negate, basically. And I'm like, I'm not stopping that. I don't care about that one. As long as I can keep my stuff on board, that's what I'm more concerned with. And then he goes, chain the trap that pops. Because if a card is special summoned from your spell and trap zone to the monster zone, while this card is in your monster zone, you can target 1 card in the field and destroy it. I'm more concerned about this, so I was making sure that this card was only meant to be chained or for the statue. I Cosmic it, and this is great because I baited the Lars with the Rising, which it just worked out perfectly. He summons out the guy. I'm like, fine, okay. Once I get to this point, I feel pretty secure, right? I get back my trap. I get red zone. I then go into bone, right? Because now that I'm here, I feel that I'm okay. Because I have Soul Resonator in my graveyard. I can protect myself from any form of destruction, right? But if you were to negate this float, I'd be kind of in trouble, I think. Because now Gaia, it just gets negated by the trap, right? So I can't float into my discard, which is... It can be quite troublesome, but I felt I needed to do this. Otherwise, I just don't stand a chance. I float. I go for Archfiend to increase. And then he flips his trap. Swamp Deity. Negates my bone. Activate. He chains his other deity. I'm like, okay, deity. And then I'm like, okay. Okay, so I can't use it anymore. He negates both of them. So now I can't put stuff to defense, which is kind of annoying. But I was like, I think it's not so bad. Because I can clear the Lars, and I can just go Red Rain on everything else in standby phase or something, right? Yeah, so I was just making sure that I can't destroy those guys. I go better phase. Right away, I just banish everything, because who knows if it makes the fusion thing, right? It makes the fusion thing, just put everything in the graveyard, and no way, I'm just going to shotgun this now. He activates 1. I chain, pop it. He sets and passes. I draw pot, and GG. But that was crazy. That was, dude, playing through that with the linear deck, like it's so crazy because this deck is so simple. Right? You expect it to be, it's consistent, but it's not resilient, right? So that's where you need your non-engine to kind of pull through. He goes for pot. I'm ashing that. There's no way. He goes for Anubis. Adds. I go draw. I'm like, I got this. I got this. I'm like, this is over. And I'm like, okay, so I have a decision to make. Okay. I'm like, I can evenly match him, or I can twister him, right? And I was like, let me just go for a Cosmic, and then that means that if the other trap might not be relevant, because that means it needs another trap to be able to get any value, right? Like you have one that sets 1, and then you need to have another continuous spell or continuous trap to negate something else. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do that. Because I feel like this is strong enough. If he has Ash or Railer, or I still have Bone, like, I'm perfectly fine. And because I needed to make sure, because this is free. Twisters is free. You just discard the bone, right? So I'll go battle phase, I banish. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just Twisters now. Because like maybe it's like a strike or something. I don't know what that, I don't know what I was thinking. But luckily, it worked out because he had Droplet. I mean, maybe it would have been better if I just let it happen, right? Because I had bone anyways. But the issue is, if you would have actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe it should have been better just to let it happen and just risk the fact that, oh, well, whatever it says won't bother me. And in this case, if I just let it resolve, right, he would have just discarded a card, right, and I would still have bone, right. I will just discard the Twisters and summon and pump off there. So I think in hindsight, I guess it's in hindsight though. I don't know. But I mean, there might have been an argument to Twisters first, but then I wouldn't have a card to discard. That's the issue. Right. Well, no, I would have. I would have evenly. Anyways. But anyways, this is where I'm like, I'm going full greed here. What can he have? What can he possibly have? And he has Nib. I was like, I threw so hard. And then that's where I was contemplating my plays. I was like, I should have done what I did. That was, I think I got overconfident. That's what it is. I got overconfident. I thought I had it. And I was like making an error. Just a horrible play. I should have just not done what I did. Right? I should have probably just Twin Twisted, Peach for Bone, and then pop off. Right? And I should have played it safe. I shouldn't have gone for the Red Rain. I should have just gone for setup and then just, you know, because this is the only way I lost with Nibiru against Nibiru. So that into account, I should have just done that. And then he's just sequencing off, and I'm like, okay, that's too much. I just wanted to see what I drew. I drew the Ash. Ash does nothing. So then I go for, and look at this hand. Look at this. Right? Look what I banish. What do I banish? I banish both my Abyss, which is not ideal, but I feel that the draws off this is just too insane to just not play, right? I jumped into the pot, of course, which is kind of annoying. I set and pass, right? He draws. He just goes battle phase and attacks, and I'm like, interesting. What the hell? And I make a major misplay here. This is why you have to read. This is why you have to read. So as long as this is on the field, this can't be destroyed. I was like, what? Temple of the Kings you control cannot be destroyed. And this is treated as that. And I was like, oh my god, I should have just popped the back row. What the hell? But that was a misplay on my part. That was a mistake on my part. I should have read. And that's why you win or lose games, because of either you or your opponent don't know what your cards do. It doesn't even take that long. It's just a few seconds. And this surprised me though. This surprised me the most because I thought he would do the full combo. I thought this is full combo. Like I thought this was it. And he just didn't do it. Oh, interesting. Well, why didn't he do what he did the other game? Right? So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? Do I activate pot or do I not? And I felt that I needed to make sure that I was able to go Gaia. Because I think he has the trap that negates. So I would lose if he negates the Gaia. He goes activate trap, set the one that negates, and I lose. Right? So then I go pot and I risk it. Okay. Hang on. Okay. So I banished my 3 RDAs and my 1 Scarred. So that means I have 1 more RDA left, which is all I need. My hand is pretty good. I draw the out for the back row, which is awesome, right? I go Gaia, search for my Soul Resonator. I was expecting a draw here. No draw. And once I get to this point, I'm like, okay. I got Nib before. He got rid of his Nib. So what are the chances of him having another Nib, right? What are the chances? So in this case, I play it safe and I just don't do the play I was initially going to do. I play it safe. This plays on a Nib because if he Nibs me, it doesn't matter, right? Because this guy floats. I have access to my traps. I have Cosmic. Everything's fine, right? I go battle phase, attack over the guy, trigger, put it face down, set, and pass. Okay, he goes Pot of Extravagance. I Ash. He summons a Gamma Seal. And this is what I'm saying. This is a safer play because if I went for the Abyss line, I lose to Nib and I lose to Kaiju in this case. But my guy floats. Okay, then my guy floats. I Cosmic the field spell. I'm getting lost here. I keep forgetting that this was an epic game that I had to juggle the 1 RDA. Okay. So then now I go for Anubis. He goes for Anubis. Anubis searches the man with the mark. Man with the mark searches Exiton. And once we're here, I'm like, I can't believe I lost. And this might be one of the reasons why you would say, or you would argue, oh, that's why you don't play Pot of Extravagance. Because, you know. But I felt that in the games I've played, Extravagance has won me more than lost me. While considering that, I felt that you will have games where you lose, right? That will happen. So he goes Dark Ruler just to deplete his hand, just so I can have more cards than he does, so he can nuke my board. He just blows up everything. And I'm like, what do I do now? And I was like, everything's gone, bro. What are you doing? But luckily for me, I have Bone in rotation. Okay. Bone. This is what I'm saying. You have your grind game established. If they get rid of Gaia, you have Bone. And now we have Gaia again. Gaia will then add back the Scarred. Add back the Scarred. Special. Summon. I just juggled one. And I get everything back. Oh my god. And then I get my vision back. I attack. He tries to nuke. I go Soul Protect. And now we're back in the driving seat. And this is the cool thing about RDA. The fact that you can get into these grindy games, right? It's consistent, it's efficient. And if you get to the point where you're trying to deplete or exhaust your opponent's interactions or resources, this card does it so perfectly well. He goes for the mark. I'm like, fine. Let's keep going. It's perfectly fine. He sets, he passes. I go effect, add back, and I'm just trying to control here. Oh, I'm just trying to control here. Right? Get back. I get Golem. I can always get back my Uvu. I can get back my Scarred with because I banished Uvu. Get it back with Abyss. I mean the Spatter. Attack. Set. And we're back in the driving seat. GG. Whoa, bro. This matchup can be scary because they have a Calamities. RDA has a Calamities. We're not using it, but it's like a Synchro versus an XYZ. So I'm like, okay, is this guy gonna play it? And he does. And right now, if you remember, we were on stream. We were calling for. We're like, we need a Cosmic Cyclone to be able to play past this, because otherwise we don't. We draw the Cosmic for the field spell. Otherwise, he gets an Omni in rotation, which is not something that we want to deal with, especially not under this guy. He calls Light. My deck is dark. I mean, I do have fires, but like primarily it's dark, right? I go for Pot, and I go draw 2. I draw into. I mean, it's unfortunate that we don't have the field spell anymore, so we can special summon this guy. But look what we banished. We banished 1 RDA, 1 Scarred. The Cubot's gone. The Spatter's gone. I mean, we only play 1, but we can manage. It's slightly a bit of an issue, but we can manage. And we played triple of this, so we have 2 left. And at this point, I'm like, okay, so I can use lights. So I can still use all of my hand, right? I can trigger stuff in grave. Everything on a field is light. So then I'm like, okay, I have to find a way to make Scarred and then be able to nuke his board, right? That's what I'm trying to do here. So then I go, effect, go for soul. And we're going back to it. This is why I max this out, because I want to be able to see it. Although there's so much access to this is the choke point, and I do not want to be caught with no extender. Okay, so summon special. I don't think I trigger. Why didn't I trigger the crime? I think I forget to. Yeah, I think I forget to trigger the crime. That's what it was. And then I think because I was excited that I was about to crack his board. That's what it was. Okay. So then I go into Vision, get my, and he just activates. And the cool thing is that he thought I was gonna add from deck, but this can search from graveyard. Just either place. So, you know, and he just activated for no reason. So now all I have to do now is just make an Abyss, and then I'll trigger the Scarred, summon, attack. Yeah, but I can attack. I forgot I couldn't attack. So I set and pass. And then he's just going off. I was like, oh, how much recursion do you have? That Meister came in clutch. Meister negates. Abyss negates. He scoops. But that's through freaking Calamities. That's crazy. Okay, so my hand is pretty good as well. So look, I have Pot, I have Cosmic Cyclone, and I have Dark Ruler no more, right? Alongside Engine, right? That's all I need. And I'm expecting the same board because it seems like a very linear deck. It doesn't seem like it can pivot, right? That's why it kind of has its weakness in that sense. Like, yeah, it has a powerful win condition, but its inability to be able to be versatile is not that great. Okay, so then now we were contemplating on what to do, right? Because I have to choose, right? I can't do Pot of Extrav and I can't do this, right? So I think I end up deciding to just keep the pot, I'm pretty sure. Triggers, he calls dark. I'm like, perfectly fine. Okay. And then he goes, banish, he keeps the VFD. I'm like, oh my god. I thought we were great. I thought that was a winning hand. I honestly thought that. But I'm forced to pass. And then now, he's just popping off. And I'm waiting for an effect in the graveyard to trigger so I can use Skullmeister at an opportune moment, but it's not happening. So then he sets, equips. I draw Ash. I give him something, I Ash that. Yeah. And then I'm alive, but barely. And my hand is like not so great. So I just end up scooping. And then now we go to game 3. And once again, he says keep going. And I'm so happy because my hand was like, okay, if this gets stopped, I just get cooked. So I'm assuming he's on breakers. That's what I'm assuming. So I'm just going to do everything I do, right? I go and discard the Crimson so I can send Uvu. And this allows me to have an insane board. And because we're not getting access to Red Rain, we're going to do it in a way where we can go for our Dispatter, right? Dispatter, I have Uvu access, and I can keep my board presence with Bane and Scarred, and just have an immense amount of pressure, right? Go for Bane Tributes, and I have Pull Trap. So this is my setup, right? And I think I go Uvu Banish, so I can have the Dispatter live. Otherwise, the Dispatter is just empty. It just doesn't do anything. So look. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interactions, and now I'm expecting a Dark Wheeler, and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay. So I think I shouldn't have. I think I was advised. I'm not gonna name names. I think I was advised, but I think in hindsight, if we actually thought about it, what am I prioritizing? Am I prioritizing the face-up negate or the monster pop? I should have been prioritizing the face-up card negate. Because what I could have done is I could have gone, okay, Golem, banish this, revive this, right? And then I would still be okay. Because I still have the pop, I still have the Ash, I still have the face-up negate. Compared to Dispatter. Dispatter is not that great, right? Not that great. So then a negate. He Dark Wheelers again. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, fair enough. I Ash that. He goes into Tachyon and he can't progress. And I'm like, I still have my pop. I still have my banish. It's insane. And here we are with our final game of the first wave of games for a grind to 1K. Because after this, we end up changing the list a bit because the higher you get on the ladder, the more definitive the decks you face get, right? So then I go up against Fire King. He draws me, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. I still have access to my Scarred. I put this guy in defense because I noticed that he's playing Fire King. And usually what happens is they want to crash their stuff into your stuff to trigger their stuff. The Grunicks, to be more specific. So I was like, I'll just put my guy in defense. I have Cosmic and I have Ash. And Ash stopped him before. And it's funny because he was trying to ridicule me. He's like, Ash and Genesis. And then I just put sunglasses. I go Cosmic. He chains Final Bringer of the End of Times. Target one monster you control and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them. You can only use one of them per turn. So he pops his monster, and I'm assuming that's how he's going to get to trigger his card. Right? So he triggers... He'll trigger the Fire King Island, and then he triggers the Jurac Megalo, and of course he triggers his Grunicks. And I'm like, oh no, what are these chain of events? So now I get my RDA in rotation, and I think I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, what's he doing here though? What does this do? Like, what exactly happened? Yeah, yeah, I think he sequences his turn quite rough. Because if you did it the other way around, telling one that, telling one to this will resolve first, then this will summon. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, completely different. Okay, so then I special, and he takes control of my guy, right? And this is where I'm like getting snowballed out of control here. He pops my guy. I have to set and pass. I ash this, and then now he goes overlay for this guy, destroys all my monsters. I get access to my Gaia, which is great because that means that now all I need to do is destroy something and then get my RTAs in rotation. So then I get access to my Gaia. I banish it, activate Gaia, search my soul, and then now I'm gonna just get access to my Red Dragon and everything. Oh no, do I go for Red Dragon? No, I'll go for my bone, I guess. I think just to be safer. I think it's a grinder matchup, so I would rather have the bone in rotation, I guess. No, I remember now. It's so I can go for game. Because this gives you game because I get the sufficient amount of bodies. Yeah, I remember now. Tribute, attack. Yeah, so much for Ash, right? Ash is, yeah, it's not really a prevalent hand trap. So then he goes pot. I draw. He activates Fire King. The special. He goes Garunix. I'm in. He activates. I go for Meister. He draws me. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I already have access to my guy. Summon special. Dump. Revive. And at this point, I'm like, he doesn't have anything. I'm just gonna go for it. Summon. Chain, right? Destroy his guys. He chain blocks. Oh no, he doesn't chain block at all. And then just negate. Yeah, pretty wild. It's pretty insane. So here's the list. I'll be posting up more replays and just showing you guys the process of trying to get up to 1K rating and then eventually getting further beyond, trying to just climb up the ladder. So you have a triple Earthbound, Stone Sweeper, triple Archfiend, triple Lotus. Like I mentioned, I felt that this is the biggest choke point because although you have so much consistency, you have so much access to Soul, that's kind of the justification for people to say, oh, that means I can play only one. But if this guy gets stopped, yeah, well, you have so much access to Soul, but what if you're just gonna pass? You're just gonna pass, and that is not great. So that's why you punish, right? You go summon, interact with this. It's perfectly fine because the way the format is there's not an abundant amount of hand traps. So all they have is probably one, right? And you're gonna get to your setup, which is gonna be your Abyss and your Red Dragon, and that seems pretty insane, right? So why wouldn't you do that? And then if you have access to double extender, that makes it even better because that means your board is gonna be that much better. One Uvu, yeah, Uvu is just that's just a tech card, I guess. You don't necessarily have to play it. It's just something that I've gotten used to, and I just like keeping it around. Triple Soul, double Vision, one Crimson, one Resonator, one Synchron, one Schoolmeister, one a Red Rain, and a triple pot. This is kind of scary for some people. All you need is one. That's it, right? And if you banish all of them, then at least you have Abyss, right? And then you can just juggle the Abyss somehow. And of course, you can also just find a way to go into because the format allows you to like get a grind and just get to those attrition style games. So you can possibly get to a Dispatter eventually with your Red Rising and your Avu, and then you can just go effect, pop a card, and then return one of your cards with Fish to Dispatter, and then try to do it that way. Then of course you have your Ash and your Droll. I felt like Droll is pretty insane when you pair it with Ash because you stop them from adjusting their hand, and then when they have that last extension, whether it be special summoning from deck or just basically, and then you just go Ash, and it's like it catches them off guard because they don't expect it. Not a lot of people expect this card because not every deck can play it. And then of course, for whenever you go second, you just want Dark Ruler, Cosmic. I'm still on the fence on this. I'm not too sure, but for the most part, Dark Ruler has been insane. Just going second, just being able to just nullify a board. You go for the Scarred sequence, Scarred into Abyss, nuke everything in attack position, and whatever is in defense, your RDA just takes care of it. And then you just control with Red Rain and Red Zone and just, yeah. But yeah, we're going to continue. But yeah.